and 8 lesser lineages, Drikung, Taklung, Tsalpa, these 3 glorious Drukpa, and so on. Profound path of Mahamudra, incomparable beings, the Takpo Kagyu, I supplicate you, the Kagyu Gurus, I hold your lineage, grant your blessings, I will follow. Example, revulsion is the foot of meditation, as is taught to this meditator who is not attached to food and wealth, who cuts the ties to this life. Grant your blessings, have no desire. Devotion is the head of meditation, as is taught. The Guru opens the gate to the treasury. Instruction to this meditator continually supplicates him, grant your blessing so that genuine devotion is born in me. Awareness is the body of meditation, as is taught. Whatever arises is fresh, the essence of realization to this meditator who rests simply without altering it. Grant your blessing so that my meditation from conception, the essence of thoughts is Dharmakaya, as is taught. Nothing whatever but everything arises from it. To this meditator who arises in unceasing play, grant your blessing so that I realize the inseparability of samsara and nirvana. Through all my births may I not be separated from the perfect Guru, and so enjoy the splendor of Dharma, perfecting the virtues of the paths and bhumis. May I speedily attain the state of Vajradhara. Primordial Rigden, all good Samantabhadra, great Vajradhara, lotus-born Padmakara, wisdom Yashe Sogyal, Prahevajra, Shri Simha, holders of the ancient great perfection, Tilo, Naro, Marpa, Mila, Siddhi accomplishing masters of Mahamudra, please approach and grant your blessing. Dawa, the other Dharmarajas and the 25 Rigdans who guide beings to the sacred land of Shambhala. You are the sun and the moon, the fulfilling good. Your brilliant mind is the ornament of the world. Protect my Vajra awareness. Grant your blessing so that I may realize great bliss, wisdom, Kesar. You are the great activity, lion, all victorious. Sakyong, you reveal the treasure of basic goodness and radiate the great eastern sun. Ashe, essence of life, fearlessly reveals confidence and compassion. May all discover the power of this magic, the Drala lineage. You bring about the new golden age. Grant your blessing so that I may liberate all beings. Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, warriors, masters of the 3 times, you guide us along the path to liberation. You awaken bodhicitta. You teach us the great view of emptiness. You reveal the joy of luminosity. Transmitting awareness, wisdom, you lead us to perfect enlightenment. Grant your blessing so that I may realize my nature as the profound, brilliant Rigden. The earth is perfumed with scented water and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. Imagining this as the Buddha realm, I offer it so that all beings may enjoy that pure realm. In accordance with the capabilities and diverse aspirations of sentient beings, I ask you to turn the wheel of Dharma, of the greater, lesser, or conventional vehicles.
Tusum Sanji Dam Jejango Redon Jengoro Jansu Chabda Garden Sumba Mep Palden Lama Dambe Yarje Dultuma Me Bala Gurabda Dede Pepe Jansalki Japsun Jo Zinje Labaranze Dozo Omen Juje Yenje Bodana Tusum Sanje Gunjang Nye Ransem Jograng Sum Tenzeb Save Lame Kala Gujanza Tene Tatanda Chitang Chenamba Kangala Nadu Deli Hujrela, Nitige, Gila, Tacherdo, Tanda, Cherdo, Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche, Dancer, Tejendo, Tisi, Sachong Mipham Rinpoche, Dancer, Tatandandar, Naranso Kankan Zom, Tene, Chenamba, Tatanda, Chitang Chuela, Teba Yonkin, Tinani, Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche la, Tepatum Mugu Cheparchin, Chewat Namla, Tatari, Tanda Shaja Chimbu, Tangur, Dechin Romo Sinkiti, Narange, Shujuk, Kokap Chumati, Be Gabu Jongla, Teniche number Chu Sinking Tongji Laya, Tachita, Jitang, Tanda, Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche, Hyalanjal Nyunkin, Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche, Hyalanjal Manyunkin, Tatinde Kan Yinaya, Takong Song Zangma, Tini Kongrig Chaki Chi, Tini Durja Loma Tamji Gatanto, Yoyab, Sunguri in the Cherna, Tini Tumoma Imba, Loma Zolayong, Pento Chembo, Yungre, Sombandabota, Tini Tatela, Tini Kong, Sungur Tea, Tini Chitang, Tenju Nambandaba Maimba, Gurga Namba Imba Cheda, Gurga Namba Laya, Tangaranzo Tamalpa. Chimpetin on la Gode, Soja Chimbote, Teni Pay Nambala, Pedang Peching Nambala Yoni, Song Joba in Bichena, Godevo in Bazam de Mazita, Chetawa in the Kona, Teni Telatini, Nyanselin Deva, that in the Bichena, Calvazambu Chumala, Yaposini, Nyamni, Yaponang, that in the Naruchi, Hugi.
First of all, I would like to wish all of you good morning. And I have to say that I'm just totally delighted to be here in this place that was the seat of Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche, and that is now the seat of his son, the Ju Mipham Rinpoche, and for all of us to gather here, for all of you to come out of great faith and devotion in the Dharma, and it's particular out of the great faith and devotion for Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche. And so I'm just thrilled to be able to teach this song, on the view of Mahamudra, the Symphony of Great Bliss. And also, there are all of you who have come here, all of you who are listening to this. Many of you are students who actually met Trungpa Rinpoche. There are some here who may not have met Trungpa Rinpoche, but it's for all of you that he wrote this song. He took the words and he wrote them down in a pure and pristine fashion. He wrote them for all of you. And so he wrote them in order to particularly help his own students. And so in this writing this song, he didn't write it as a treatise, as a philosophical text. He wrote it as a song. And in terms of the song, he wrote it in particular in a way that's really easy for householders and lay people to understand by using comparisons comparisons and personifications of Mahamudra. It makes it very easy to comprehend. And so once you understand this, then it's easy to practice. And so and so we are all extremely fortunate for all this. And so I would like to ask all of you to please listen as well as you can, and then practice this as well as you can.
Tene tateya kasing tuile ta kasing kasola jagarge yurdo sedon hawatan dode patan sensong patan uma patatinde Chungwa la tene te nomji tanda tene soja chimpu ke nelu te jemba la ten to meba tene ta te ngupur nawa tenzo ta toni nawa tenzo ke tene soja chimpu nelu te chasangje ten to meba ndabo temba gomba ta te yendo tanda pe to tarwe kapsula tene pe la chulu mandawa tende chongwa re la chulu mandawa tende chongwa tenzo la mengo yore mengo yoba te lani yapo je tar thugun duge yapo je tachi yapo se ne ten te si gomba thumba tang gomba mantin bicha yore la ta tangbo gomba mantin bicha yona teni te tenti yapo zabzab se gugre se teni ti ji ni gomba thumbe ki cha te temba re la teni te ya sage nindu gen kedru mambu kornde yerme je nelu chembo toni tudar je lontong chembo kada hundu je zoba chembo kenling kandar je machu la so natsu tani je hyalbo do jong se song re tene ta sacha ta jai ro gaden pa ta ni hanjur ni ma wa tong som tene pa din rupa ka ji de ya la so ba tene te lan ke pa mang bo chen ba re nyam ne che par jing ka tu to mang bo chen ba re chen ne ta so su ke ta wa te na pa ba ka so la tene pa din sacha pa tham chi ke som khornde yer mi ji ne lu chen bo se ta lam de lo hi dong lam de su hi ka so la tene ta wa ten la pa ka so la khorwa dong nyang yin len de pa yer mi ji ne lu chen bo ten la pa ge yo re che tene te yendo ro gaden ba tham chi chi toni tu der je long thong chen bo se ta toni ten la pa tene ta te ro gaden ba de tong bo kadam pa li chang tene kadam pa la tene kadam tanda je lo zong ta pa la tene kadam sar ma wa chang te nam chi ta wa ten la pa ka so la toni tu der je long thong chen bo ten la pa 파기 요아래라 대견동 한줄이 니마와 탐지지 되네 거다 동 순두지 조바침보 때나 파기 요아래 라 대견도 빠딘 루바가지 그 템반 좀좀 뼈라보 남지 켈링 끈더지다 마주베네루 소 나초 타니지 샬보 도종 다 틴데 만다와 제 때지 tsegi chepar tang, mengo ke chepar mandawa, teni sungi yo re zong.
So to pick up where we left off yesterday afternoon, yesterday we talked about the different philosophical schools that appeared in India, the Great Exposition, the Sutra School, Mind Only, and Middle Way schools. And we talked about how they are not really able to directly see the naked form of Mahamudra. That sounds terrible, doesn't it? They're not directly able to see this because they profess the existence of things, or they profess emptiness. They are not able to completely teach the nature of Mahamudra as it is. And so following that, we have the discussion of the different Dharma traditions that arose in Tibet. Now, there are many different types of instructions that were given, and because of these instructions, there were different practices and so forth that they had. And if we practice the instructions of the different traditions well, then that's very good. But we need to examine and see if we are actually practicing their instructions correctly. And so in this way, there are sections that talk about the aspects of these that are compatible and those that are incompatible with Mahamudra. And so if there are areas that there are incompatibilities or things that seem incompatible, then these are areas that we need to be careful in our practice. And in terms of the and then after that, it teaches the areas where it is compatible. So first, there are the teachings on how they seem slightly contradictory. This is on the outline. This is on the bottom of page 3, I believe. It is line 71 of the text. It reads, "Many masters of the Sakya, Geluk, Nyingma, and Drukpa, make proclamations of various terminology, such as the great nature of samsara, nirvana, indivisible, the great insight of the unelaborated emptiness, the great perfection of spontaneous primordial purity, and the lack of any assertions that is uncontrived. And so there are the great scholars of the four main schools. The first is the Sakya, the second is the Gelug, the third is the Nyingma, and the fourth is the Drukpa Kagyu. So there were many great meditators, many great scholars, and people who practiced this, who had really excellent practice. And when they came to really establish their view, then in terms of the Sakya view, they talk about what is called the great nature of samsara and nirvana indivisible. This is line 73. The great nature of samsara and nirvana indivisible. And so when coming to understand the lineage of explanations and the lineage of accumulation for the study of path and result, the particular Sakya teachings, in coming to understand the view, they talk about the indivisibility of samsara and nirvana. This is the nature of how things are. In the Gelug school, they talk about the great insight of the unelaborate emptiness. And so this is when, in the Gelug school, they are primarily coming to establish and internalize emptiness. And so the Gelug school developed out of first the Kadampa school, and then the great Tsongkhapa came and established what is called the new Kadampa or Gelugpa school, and their view is about the emptiness that is free of elaborations or free of all conceptual complications. Then the third school mentioned is the Nyingma school, and in the Nyingma school they talk about the great perfection of spontaneous primordial purity. And so this is the spontaneous presence and the primordial purity. And then finally there is the Drukpa school. The teachings of the Drukpa school are the lack of any assertions that is uncontrived. And so there's the uncontrived or unaltered lack of any assertions. So that is the reference to the Drukpa school. And so these different schools make proclamations of various terminology. And so they have different terms, different words that they use. And so there are slightly different words and slightly different instructions that they have given.
Tene ta tela kandi gugu yore se na jirdo ta chu dang gongsa number 2 yore tambi chu ji menga de ta samji ni jagar dang pedo sembe tuto cheparti namji jipani zangte chung ge menga de dang tene gongsa susu gunde ba 다 카키라 데지 쟁용이 와래 쟁용한테 간데레세나 담비 추고온데 데지 쟁용이 와마 공사 소수게 공사라 때네 공사 카키 양다바 카키 데지 쟁진 용식이라 다텔라 흰 간디지 책고게 와래세나 데니치탕가 롱당 텀바 롱세나 산지 좀 된데지 좀가 데니케 케바통 투토 체브르진 남지 좀 땡큐 남제 롱당 텀바제 데네 롱당 롱라 데네 냠네 제바제 롱라 데네 헤바제 대견도 다 롱 텐주가 나와 데네 다 단다 자거게 텐주 제버진다 베도 다르 텐주 제버진 텐주가 놓는다 데네 리파 양타발라 데네 텐라 파비와라 디 리파 데네 카히 케바도 투도 통지 맹어 사모 데니 힌도 집에 맹어 사모 텐주 요아레 데니 대견도 다데 기당가 롱여바 리바여바 맹어여바 다 텔라테네 소수게 검니 띵엔zen 양다바제 냠스뇽 토이 데니 야보제세네 숨통 로들게 있나 렉데스 데니 숨통 소수지가 로당 달와데 넘도게 이즈가 반다보 마이바 단내루가 다 토피게 데니 맹어제 있나 야보레 데베 야보레 간데이나 사자이나 요랑 니마이나 요랑 겔루바이나 요랑 두바가지 있나 요랑 힌들 렉데 당아란서 대군주가 추지고라 효니 담비추 냠설렘베가서라 좀몬주사티 지이인 오티니 좀몬주사티 야포젠도가 냠네 야포제 테 루리 맹어 동tum바지 정도가 Manduga Yapuchi Tagure, Lori Mengo don't Timbaina, Tinyoslingare, Lori Mengo Gombig and Toy Chua Maina, Tate, Sichenchina, Tiniti Rang Zavzal, Chiguba. Take nearly some ne Dambarilla, Tatige, Jagartan, Pedro Tarwe, Tunta Tinzuge, Tate, Tate, Junzi Gumba Mountain, Corte, Shuata. Tiniti so Tatanda, Tate Gumba Mountain, Tangi on the Senangala Mapa, Tembig, Tini Sachi Niorella. Tiniting Jagarta Tarwati Lion Chemebata, Tinitagan the Pet Tarwati Lion Chemebat and Batini.
So what is it that we need to do? Well, we have to remember that there are two things here. There is the Dharma and there are individuals. The Dharma is the teachings of the Buddha that were passed down to the great scholars and great meditators, the Mahasiddhas of India and Tibet, the instructions of them. Then there are the individuals and the wishes of the individuals, and here it's possible, and the assertions of individuals, and here it is possible that there might be some problems and faults. And so when there are faults and problems, is this a fault with the Dharma or is it a fault with the individual? It's not a fault that comes about from the Dharma. It's a fault that comes about from the individual. Some people are not able to really examine things carefully, and so then things get a little bit problematic about that. And so here, this is the discussion about how they might seem problematic. So what is it? How do we discern whether something is right or not? Well, there are four things that we need to discern on. As it says in line 77, if by the power of scripture, logic, instructions, and meditation. So first we need scripture. Scripture here refers to the words of the Buddha and also the treatises that were written by the great scholars and masters of India and Tibet. And so through studying the scripture, we can come to be able to practice. Through studying these scriptures, we can come to be able to know and understand. And so within these treatises that were written by the great masters of India and the great masters of Tibet, what is taught is the logic or the reasoning. And so this is the proper reasoning. We follow the proper reasoning. And then within some of these, there are also the instructions, the oral instructions. These are the instructions that one master then teaches to the student, whispering in their ear or giving the instructions orally. And so we have these three. We have the scripture, logic, and instructions. And on the basis of these, we do our own individual meditation. We experience the feelings. We generate the experience of samadhi. And if we do that, it is as it says in line 78. If this is looking inward without, there should be an if before the beginning of this line. If this is looking inward without conception, it is, and not good, it should be great. If this is looking inward without conception, it is great. These all point a finger at something. What could that be like? And so if this is looking inward without conception, so here, normally when we ordinary individual things, we make things up conceptually. We look at things conceptually. But rather what we need to do is we need to realize the nature as it is. And so if we are looking inward and realizing the nature as it is, whether we are Sakyapa, whether we are Nyingma, whether we are Geluk, or whether we are Drukpa Kaju, it's great. It's really fine. So these all point a finger at something. What could that be like? So they're all pointing at something. So what is it that we need to examine this carefully to see what they're pointing at. And if what they are teaching is something that is compatible with the scripture, the logic, and the instructions, then that is something that we need to practice. If it is not compatible with that, if there's some sort of a fault, then we need to be careful about it. Be careful about it. And so In this way, we've had the discussion now about how the philosophical schools that arose in India, there are the various incompatibilities there, and we also began talking about the schools that arose in Tibet, how there seem to be some areas that are slightly contradictory. But in actuality, all of the meaning of all of this all comes down to the same thing. In terms of the actual meaning, there is no contradiction to these schools. And so here we have the two sections to this, with the teaching that in actuality the intent is compatible. And this has two sections: the Indian philosophical schools and the Tibetan traditions. So there are not so in actuality there are not any faults.
Tene ta teyan tangpo ta jagaraji yodo taruga omdo na tene tena de ni sedu sheroda nawa do de pa namba ni rela chine tan do sheroda nawa do de pa ni ge karisungi yore sena chine tene chirul jingu ponda dulhin letrupa re sungi yore tene dulhin letrupa sunga yendo tanda ngaranso Chögyam Trungpa nelu tenla pangkin da Chögyam Trungpa nelu gangkin tenjuge zo senji nelu de chutamji ji chuni de gangki yore la de la tusam nangki yore de la nyamlin nangki yore re la re te yinaya chidan de tanda zani yo mare zani tong mare ngaranso meki yodo chubra zauda meki yodo chubra zaudnawe yodo chubra da la soba zawani yo mare si sujan hiegi yo mare la teacher na te ngo ranking ji tomba yimba la hiegi yepa teacher na chidan yego yin dharma hiebe tena deni na jijin je je shirota na watung tote batam chi gomba galgi yo mare te yendo tudal yin na yung nongcha rungi chutang chi tuibatang tarwa re te kunzo tseni ge tuba yin na yung ra matuba yin na yung ra te ta tanda hyargi yo re la rongji na watang teni Chögyam Trungpa ge tawa tenla papa teni lang galda hiro yo ma re gejin je ye jong ni nong de ke ma long we me go chong zin no ji jin je je Chögyam Trungpa nelu de ten la pha ka so la tene ta ye pa ma yin ja we jong ma zi me pa ma yin khon de kan ji ge se ta tin de sung ge yo re me pa ma yin ba khon de tham ji ji ma yin ba sung ge yo re de yin na ya tene ta te ni nong do je ba ji ke leng ge yo ma re la tene me go khona chu dun zim ba tanjuru tong oma rong tong ba nam ji ji jin je je jitin denjin ji yol le galwe tong ni ta na ke ji jin je je tenen jitin denjin ji yol de ta ge yo mare la teacher na tong ni ta par na wa tenen oma yen tong ba tam ji chong ta Chögyam Trungpa ne lu tong gal ge yo mare la teacher na ji jin je je.
So the first section is teaching on how the teachings of the Indian philosophical schools are compatible. And so this begins first talking about, since we don't say that external objects are forever negated, you two schools who posit external existence, be delighted. And so the two schools who posit external existence are the Great Exposition or Vaibhashika and the Sautrantika or Sutra school. These two schools posit that external objects are established, that they're made out of atoms. And so similarly, when we talk about coming to comprehend and internalize the nature of Mahamudra, when we are talking about meditating on Mahamudra, we come to really understand the essence of the nature of the mind. We understand the nature, the Dharma nature of all phenomena. We study and practice this, But when we do this, it's not like we're saying, once you start meditating, there's nothing out there. When you're there's nothing there. There's nothing exists at all. There's absolutely nothing there. There's no one who says that at all. So those of you who posit external existence, be delighted. You can be happy about it. We're just saying things are empty. We're not saying that they are complete nothingness. The next, and so In this way, it says, since we don't say that external objects are forever negated, we're just saying they're empty. You two schools of positive external existence, be delighted. So this is showing how this is not contradictory of the teachings of the Great Exposition and the Sutra school. Then next is the teachings about the mind-only school. Since appearance is possible, though free of elaborations, all of you who posit autonomy should be delighted. And so although we say that everything is free of elaborations, these are talking about the autonomous school. Although we say that everything is free of elaborations, whether you say that things can be established by their own characteristics relatively or not, they still appear. And so when the positions of the autonomist school does not contradict the view of Mahamudra in other way. Then next it reads in verse 84, though something we do not assert this dualistic appearance, so you who hold no negations paramount should be delighted. And so when we are coming to understand the Mahamudra, it's as it is said in the Mahamudra, and the prayer of Mahamudra, it's not something even the Buddha, even the victors cannot see it. Not nothing. It's the basis of samsara and nirvana. And so, we say that the nature is something. It's not nothing, but we don't say that that the dualistic appearances of our ordinary reality are truly established. So, you who hold no negations paramount, the consequentialists who negate the existence of everything, should be delighted. It does not contradict the consequentialist or prasangika view in any way. And then, since line 86, since it transcends the objects the worldly cling to as being real, all you who assert permanent emptiness should be delighted. And so here, since in the Mahamudra view, we do not say the things, we do not have the clinging to reality of regular worldly people. You who are fixated on two truths, those Shentongpas, the people of the Shentong school, who assert the permanent emptiness, should also be delighted.
Tene deni yermin de hilu inbi ta kunzo don tan don de bani bote ngal ge yo mare kunzo ge mongcha don tan don ge tongni ni de ngal ge yo mare deni yermin ge ne hilu inbi deni ngen yin ge ji ji je je se ta kunzo de yepa don tan don de mepa tene kunzo de mepa don tan don de me yepa la so pa tene ngen yin hemba chembo nang ge ta tenju ge gomba tang galgi yo mare demba ni de yenmere yena yo ta tanda ngorang yinge no tanda kunzu no wa dong tandong tongba ni de ngo yenme de yembe chena no de no ngo de rang yinge tongba yimba tongba ngo de no yimba la tene de yendo tanda tandong ge nelu gong de sena salwe ngo de tongba yimba tongba ngo de salwa yimba tene ta tegen to so hot mo ma imbe on to jena dewe ngo de tomba imba tombe ngo de dewa imba de ton song dun ju pala so ba ta tende gran yin be cherna tene gomban galgi yo mare sone tena papa cheta ta te ji so pe konjin ji jong sa tarwe ge on de jete khornde yermi de pa di sacha pa tham ji ji sum khornde yermi de tene shaja chimbo tamal be na choja chimbo tamal ji hiba ta tanda ndela servi ta ndela tang khonde yermi sege yore lobhi jenzen no thodo magu de yendo tamo mengo ge to ta lai kadam sarman lepa mage thap mambo mengo nam ji to par hawa yin bechna kadam sarma ro gadin batam ji lepa mage de gandu kanya yo mare kani thana yung junrin tepe rinzin truki nom hajam manto tene kara tong lundub ga nongwa tenzo kharna ya tene kunzo tenri jin nongwa tong junri jin nongwa de rangin gin jungi yo warela tene ta songwa nganjurwa riban zamba tamji truki tamji jong tawa hajam manto wa ngaransu jikpa nangin yungi yo ware
Then in verse 88 it reads, "Since the two truths inseparable is basic sanity, all you who are fixated on the two truths be delighted." And so here there's the relative and the ultimate, and they're not contradictory. The relative appearance, the ultimate emptiness are not contradictory. And so there are people who assert that things exist relatively, but do not exist ultimately. Or they say that things exist ultimately, but they do not exist relatively. So all such people who have fixation on the two truths, this is not contradictory, or Mahamudra is not contradictory of this. We talk about the unity or the inseparability of the two truths. The nature, this is the nature of Mahamudra. And so when we talk about the nature of relative appearance is ultimate emptiness. The essence of ultimate emptiness is the relative appearance. And so the nature, or the way the ultimate is the essence of that is the clear essence, and yet that clear essence is also empty. And so the empty essence is clear. The clear is essentially empty. This is the union of clarity and emptiness. And also, if we talk about it in other terms, there's the bliss, the great bliss, and that the emptiness, the nature of great bliss is emptiness, and yet that emptiness is also by nature great bliss. The great bliss and emptiness are unified, the unity of bliss and emptiness. And so this is not contradictory in any way. And so that was the discussion of the Indian philosophical schools. And then next is it is discussed in terms of the Tibetan traditions. And so first there's the discussion of the Sakyapa, line 90 under Tibetan traditions. Samsara and nirvana inseparable is a name for this. And so in the Sakyapa school they talk about the inseparability of samsara and nirvana, and this is a name for this being Mahamudra, the ordinary mind, Tamlagi Shepa. The ordinary mind is nothing other than the inseparability of samsara and nirvana. And so you, the lineage of study and explanation, need not be jealous. The lineage of study and explanation is the Sakyapa lineage. Next is the Geluk school. Since there are many methods and instructions for realizations, all you new Kadampas do not explode your brains. And so since there are many different ways, many different things you can do, and many different methods you can follow, there's a lot, it's easy to attain realization. So all of you Gelukpas, there's no need to explode your brains. You can take it easy. And so then next is the ancient Nyingma school. Since cause and result are tenable, although spontaneously pure, Vidyadharas who destroy confusion do not get too lofty. And so things are spontaneously pure, things are primordially pure, they're spontaneously present, and yet at the same time they still occur. The relative appearance of relative interdependence still happens. There is still cause and effect that happens. So all of you Vidyadharas who destroy confusion, you great Nyingma masters, you don't need to get too lofty. You don't need to have too high a view. Our practice is really the same.
Tene ta te yendo ta tanda de chulu go on de tumta go on de de so la ta konza ger go on de de so na tene ta khahi tingen la gom la ganki tene tupa la ganki ta tinde yo la de na jeji khahi tene tupa khada se nyomlin za ni mepa nyomlin de zam mepa ta tinde yo la tene tenzo la ya dangwa temba te ta ti dangwa number 2 temba la dangwa tangbo de tupa la magawa nyomlin khona la zemba nyomlin khona la zemba ti mengo mepa la tene te ji lungom te jai da gom yapo je jilaji ma to ba ta tende yorela gom yapo je jilaji ma to ba tenzo la kanga kandi gugi yore se na tene ta tanda tu som te je na tu som yapo je na ne tene rikbalam ni ngi yapo je ji na ti ge gom te la gom chen chen ti chemi tendo gom kolwati magolwal ndowala pengi warela junsin teacher na yonda rinlom de ndalanzawe ngaran sugi chaja chimbo don tamalji hibe nelu gom na ya teni yonta per rikpati umir rikpata teni tejendo dewar hibe nimbo chetawa yendo rikpata chutam che toni rikpatin zola teni kowa yapoche ngihi yapoche che na teni tanda chaja chimbo tingenzan tamalji hiba jemba chong mengo tela pengi yore teacher na lingom de ta te chi ta thupa chena pheng mare ngara gom jab gu gre somne lingom de mengo me pe gom jam kin ten zo ni thupa chung chung ten zo hepa la ma tra ta gu mare inji minji ten zo rilom de jang na yapo yo pa te ta rilom de jang ne tini gom la 펜토 첨보 용게 여바제도 검진진 된좀 매바당 두고 여바다 검이 야포 여바데 콤펠도 땅 두고 여바라 때네 되네 릉검 두종의 힐라 마저 시다디 단다 투바 매베게 검바 혀도라 검바티 지 노르웨 찐찐도 저바탐지라 혈담디 나와 제다 다 혈담 님바디 투섬 코나라제니 되네 냠린 대점 도르면 나와 된줄라 동가 나와라 텐들 차르고로 째요 따위 또게 난데겐 타지 만생 텐들 차르고데 째야 따와데 단다 드니 냠리 야포제 세나 데라 펜토 자침부 용기요레 드니 또게 바데 당아랑수 투섬 짱발랑고 고 냠리 대점 매바 teni tegi la gakwa jabatan tegi la chenje cheba la soba nande ba kan la taji manzin te togi tangba ga songa ma tangwa sin nyamni yapo ji sin yapo yung re so.
And so that was discussing it in terms of the philosophical schools and the religious traditions. And then next he gives advice designed specifically for individuals. So there are some people who really love samadhi. You love the meditation, and you think, study, not for me. Don't need it. Don't like the study. Then there are some people who study all the time, and but you never practice. And so there are instructions for these two types of individuals on what to do. And so the first is for those people who just don't like studying and who only practice all the time. And so since the path of right logic is compatible with this, uneducated, foolish meditators don't fear explanations. And so if you try to meditate but you don't actually have the instructions, then that is just idiot meditation. That's probably a better translation here. Uneducated idiot meditators. I'm going to change my translation. Can I do that? Okay. Uneducated idiot. It's uneducated idiot meditators. You don't know if your meditation is good or not. It's possible that your meditation has faults and difficulties. And so what is it that you need at that point? You need to study. You need to study and contemplate. And if you study and contemplate very well, then you can follow the right path of logic, the proper reasoning, the real, true reasonings, develop real certainty through that. And when you have that certainty, you will be able to see if you have had slightly flawed meditation, then your meditation you'll be able to make your meditation flawless. If you have strayed in your meditation, you'll be able to come back to the right path. And so in this way, so the uneducated idiot meditators don't fear explanations, and so when we meditate upon Mahamudra, upon the ordinary mind, then when we have the instructions, the logic and the instructions, the logic of the middle way, the logic that establishes the Buddha nature that is present within all of us, the logic that establishes the emptiness of all phenomena. If we have good understanding of that, then we can develop real certainty. And when we have that certainty, it will help us with our meditation on Mahamudra. It will help us with our meditation on the naked, ordinary mind. And so you idiot meditators who think, I don't need to study, I'm just going to meditate. You don't have to be afraid of studying and logic in that way. Then studying through the logic is something very helpful. It will help us develop good meditation. It'll help us remove any flaws and any difficulties in our problems. It'll help us develop and increase our meditation. And so, in this way, this is giving the advice that if our meditation, if we don't have any basis of study and we just do meditation, then our meditation will be flawed. The second piece of advice is for those who only study and who don't practice at all, or only have a little bit of sort of second-rate practice. And so a little bit of advice for those people. It reads, since interdependence is so very bright in our perception, all you who speak intellectually do not hold one extreme. So, if you have good practice, then the interdependence is so very bright in our perception. This is what we see in our practice, that the practice is very good. So all of you who speak intellectually, so speaking intellectually means for those people who study and contemplate a lot but don't really practice. And then because they get so involved in the study, they're always criticizing one another, refuting one another's position, saying he's wrong for this reason or she's wrong for that reason. And so it says, do not hold one's extreme. So don't be such eggheads. Don't be such intellectuals.
Tene ta teji so ta tanda galwatar no asalwa sumbi warela galwatar no asalwa te galwatar ta tanda tendo jagarta tarve chulu tunta chimbo ye inayanda pedo tarve chulu mandawa namba ye inayanda tene tenzo la gomba galwa yo mare te inaya te si segment 책 통바도 만든바다 근데 정요 와래라 드니 라 드니 단단 멘팀비 제발 첨보요 말해서 왼쪽 노단라 건바총남 왼쪽 드니 다 띵엔자인다 드니 농게 주니게 단라 건바총아디 냠린테 좀 메바다고 되게 윤진 내송때 마도 연세 드니 형동 맹화 다 망부게 내상 nenga tenzo chetawa yinto matuba injire ko chechola mugu mala te ngaranso sai chepar mandawa tende yungi yoarete yinaya te chechola mugu ba mala putu zona ne zeparan zeje teni putu zona zeparan zeje se gomba mangalwa yo mare zona tena papa insare.
And then following this is the section on dispelling seeming contradictions. And so, in actuality, all of the philosophical traditions that arose in India, the 4 different schools that arose in Tibet, there are no contradictions in their real intent, but sometimes there are words that are sometimes work well together or don't work well. There are words that are compatible or incompatible. But in actuality, there is no real difference in the meaning. And so it says, it's possible those little accustomed to the inner meaning might not realize the secret points of the 100 scriptures. It is not that I am being disrespectful of you. If this strikes a nerve, I beg your pardon. And so it's possible. So those little accustomed to the inner meaning, those who have had very little practice or who don't have any practice, might not. So these people might not realize the secret points of the 100 scriptures. They might not realize the real points of the main points of the philosophies and the philosophy and the instructions as they are. So it's possible that there are distinctions or that there are differences in the word. So it is not that I am being disrespectful of you. It's using different words, and because of the different words, it may seem different, but it's not that I mean any disrespect here. So if this strikes a nerve, I beg your pardon. So please don't be annoyed.
Tene tatige tatjerdo tawetena papa ta longambi nyamsalemba tenen devungan de chirba te number some yepenani ta longambi ge nyamsalembi ge solte teni chetanga longambi nyamsalengu ge yaba longambi nyamsalon ne tene ta tela tene tanda devo topu ke sol longam be nyons lang ba ting lam cheparchi tene kin ta tawan tamba yin na nda mantin ba yin na nda te ta rang mengo ten so chetawa yin to nyons lembe ke sol te tembarela tene ta tanda tela tene devo ngandu churba ta pe lo devo ta tu trobo chung junsin da bo te sunga de la tene te topa chi jo mengo samola samte lo dewa si kon la nyamto chepar chi jil chi are nyamto chepar chi jil chi pati kana tene chi pare se na tene ta come mengo samu nyamsu lompa la tene suwa yinpe cherna tene te la tu gawa tong tuwa chi piki cholte suwa re la tene te yung tangpo mensa zangni doji tamchi je tsejala ate shoja chenpo ye teni nama kuyu chehindo topa menjang tene shoja chenpo te tene tanda zopu songji jamten te chi sumbe ndodong tene songha je jide tamchi ki hinpo nrago ji re ti cher na hindo to kawa tene pe to na pen ten chewa ta tende yore la tene ti cher na kuyu chehindo topa menjang tene ngune tani chasan che to ngandu churu yore bese na yo mare son konge mesanz mare mesanz ne yina ya ta tanda pe ta nyam to pa chi pa te ka din chimbo tang thu tuwa te thu tuwa chimbo che gu bi junsen yore kare re se na phami yunu je ta ho zombo se pata mepo se ta kongri gel zavel lama ta di lama jipel lama tamchi chi sumbige yunu yongdong mengo tenzo tene tombo tusomna bardo tene nyamlin na tama topa ngandu churur ta tende nongwa yinbe cherna ta tanda topa cheparchi jila chi pa tsamdo yung mazi ta loma chola tene dangwa te gohya jab tene mengo tenzo song mengo tenzo loma chuge nyamsu lang ne ta che tambi chuge chwanda bo te kandri yapa te nyamsu nyong topa ta tende chungwa yinbe cherna te tabu ge dangwa pami ji yunu ji taho zombo ta zangbo te muzen herab ji yansul kepi teni kongke tangbo di dangwa di topare dangwa di top ni teni kongke di nyamsi lensur di ya namba som tangbo muba chenpo che teni tepa tong muba di kanchi tsawa taba yinpe cherna teni muba chepar chen trong muba chepar chen la teni zendri punsom tsoba na zendri punsom tsoba na ne tangbo tuba la zendri se tama gamba la zendri se ne nyamsi lang tene ta te tabu mupa tang zendru nimbo te la tene tene kare chege yore se na khira pusum sopa ji chege yore la khira pusum sopa te tene samu ge te kona ni la tope khira te ya tupe khira tene sambe khira tene gangjung ge khira te khira chepar ji chi ne tene dangwa tenzo chetawa yinto nyonsu longwa lang kepi tene tepe kalpa sampo chungwa re suwa yinzir.
And so here, the generally we can talk about the song. The main part of the song has having three sections: the ground, establishing the view, the path, which is practicing meditation, and then the result of manifesting the result. And so, of these, we just completed the second section on the path, practicing meditation. And so, we need to practice the path. We need to do the path, and when we do that, this then explains how it is that the result becomes manifest. We have this wonderful path, and there may be ways that it seems compatible or incompatible with other paths, but these are really wonderful instructions, and if we practice them really properly, if we practice them as they should be practiced, then we will be able to attain the result. And so there's joy and result that happens from this. So how when the result becomes manifest, the sun of a happy mind shines from within. And so the first of these, the first part of this is discussing how when we contemplate the profound instructions, we get really happy and joyful about this. So as it says, though I've not realized Ati, the pinnacle of all sutras and tantras, or the natural thusness of Mahamudra as it is. And so here, when we develop experience and realization in our beings, how does that happen? It happens out of contemplating the instructions of the great masters of the path. By contemplating these instructions and practicing them, then we can feel really joyful and delighted about this. And so here, when we talk about the essence of Mahamudra, Mahamudra is like the essence of all the sutras. It's the essence of all the tantras, all of the Vajrayana teachings. And so because of that, it can be difficult to realize, but it's also very profound and very beneficial when we do realize it. And so Trungpa Rinpoche says here, though I've not realized Ati, the pinnacle of all sutras and tantras, or the natural thusness of Mahamudra, as it is. So here he's saying, have I manifested the entire result here? He's saying, no, he hasn't. He's taking a humble position here. But because of the kindness of the great masters of the past, he has developed experience and realization, and through that there is the great joy. There's a reason to be really happy and delighted about this. And then he continues, I am skilled in riding with devotion, diligence, and progeny, the fine stallion of the ancestral scriptures. And so here, the stallion of the ancestral scriptures, these are the teachings, the instructions of the root lamas, and then of their predecessors, the lineage lamas. And so these are all the texts, all the teachings, and all the instructions of the scriptures of the great lamas of the past. And so first he studied and contemplated them, then in the middle he practiced them, and then in the end he developed, he manifested the realization of that. And through that then he felt the great joy and happiness in doing that. So not only did he receive this realization, it's like he was able to achieve this through the instructions of the great masters of the path. So by receiving the instructions, he was then able to practice the instructions, and through practice them, he was able to really taste the experience of Dharma. And then he was able to present this in a way for students to be able to study them and practice them, and also gain some sort of an experience of the feeling that comes from real Dharma practice. And so these instructions are, he compares them to a horse, a stallion. And so meditating on this is like practicing the instructions is like riding the stallion. And you have to know how to ride the horse in the proper way. And so what is the way that you ride it? Well, he says that I am skilled in riding with devotion, diligence, and prajna. So first, he has devotion. This is the faith and the interest that is the root of everything. So first having that wonderful devotion, and then through that wonderful devotion, you develop the perfect diligence. And when you have that diligence, first you have the diligence, and then you develop, you practice. First with that diligence, you first study, and then you practice. And then through that, so through your devotion and your diligence, what is it that arises? You develop the prajna. And so this prajna is the wisdom that realizes, that sees things as they are, that sees the nature of all things. It is the prajna that arises out of listening, the prajna that arises out of contemplating, and the prajna that arises out of meditation. And so in this way, he's skilled in the instructions. He's skilled in riding the stallion of the instructions. And so this is discussing how fortunate he is.
Tene tateya kalbasambo karechong yoresena kunhi chidu gunchong le tarne 지히 근루지 탕라 lep소 세 당아란소 총도보 제닌로나 드니텔라 년카요아렐라 딜레 타르네 딘총데 갈네 탕침보젤레나 베지보요 다 대배rel라 댄종도 제나 간데레세나 근시 지두세도 다 당보 당비출라 럽종세 당비출라 냠네세도 될라 대세난 총도본다고지 요래 가르레세나 강가 히니 히데발라 드닌 타르투 그 냠린 양다바제 마종아 근데 이나 드니 근시 기두 생긴데 용기 요래 페마도 반다고 된 총다고지 요래라 텔레 타르네 다탄다 콘라 토파체버지 투지는 총아테 드니 제히비 드니티 근히비 제라 두바마이바 제히바테 다 맹어 사모티기 냠린데 쳇타와긴도 응은도 저르니 셔제침부 토바도 응은도 저르니 드니 yin 탐지 랑hin기 졸론도한다고 탕라 lep소시 티페메시베 칼바상부 중아레 드디송아죠.
So, what is this great fortune that he has? It is, line 103, thus I escape the chasm of knowing all while blocked in one, and have come to the plane of knowing one while freed in all. And so, we all here, if you're walking through the bottom of a big chasm or a canyon, it's like a very dangerous thing to do. It's hard and difficult and very dangerous. And so then when you get out of that and you get to the plane, it's like really lovely. It's really wonderful. It's great. And so that is the example. And so what that is a comparison or a metaphor of is that first we study and we practice. And then when we study and practice, what happens at first is like we know all while blocked in one. We know everything. We've studied a lot of things, but it doesn't help us. We haven't been able to develop the true, proper, actual, ultimate practice. And so it's as if we know all while blocked in one. We know everything, but it doesn't help us in any way. And then, when we are freed from that, we've come to the plane of knowing one while freed in all. When we're freed in that, then we develop the realization. And then when we develop that realization, we know the one thing. And so, it's not that we know all but are blocked in one, but we know the one thing, the realization of the nature as it is. The realization of Mahamudra has become manifest. We've developed the realization. And so, in that way, we are freed in all. And so, this is just an absolutely wonderful feeling.
Tene tateya kamdar sung kapsula pami yunu jitapo zombo si tene pate kandel segi yor mipo te kandel segi yor ta pa ta tene mipo ta tige mipo tene ami yomi la ando kapsula tene ti dangwa tinzo rimba yendula ta jipare la te u ni tembe kapsula kandi song yore se na mipo ta tene yomi ta tinzo telo naro te karin cheo se ta tangbo kani jipare se na telo to naro la soba ni jipare soja chimbu ki jipate kani jipare se na telo to naro ni jipare telo to naro ni rimba yindol kandi si jipare se na chiji chosong te karin cheo woni songwa de la chiji chosong se de la tinin telo to naro ke dangwa te marba loza la nang ni tene jipacho song ka par la chiji gupe ka kaja na wa la jipacho song te tene marpa malare pa gombo pa ta tene rimba yendo la je te tene ta tanda karma pa kunting nga ba de yin chi pa la thok ka par la jipacho song chu jipacho song te ta chiji chung la jipa ma chi ba chung jipa mashi pa chong ne tene tati jipa chosong kan chong ne tene tamchi la pel tupi ke tene ta chilap rabo na yin bachar na tene kama banga ba te yin hibi ke mase lodu rinchin senkin tel na wada kongin sen la mase lodu rinchin senkin yore la tene tati kong la tomo ma yin pe mengo te na ne rimba yindola perwa te chiji chusam te karin che wo se tene mase lodu rinchen te la teni nyeji ge dambati nang ni teni rimba yindola trong kanga namjala jete teni trong kanga namjal segewa ta tege lama la jete teni rimba yindola pel nawa yimbe chena ta tanda pami yunu jeta ho zombo sengin te ta tende rimba yindola jiba ta kabndar woni sundu tela namba som yuarel telo naro te karin chewo chiji josan te karin chewo konghera ombo te karin chewo se tene ta te kong ta lama chepar jente konghera ombo la saune tene karin che sonarela ta te ta bu phami yunu ji ta ho zombo te hyane tene chi hi konru je thon la let ba tende chonre son.
So when we talk about the stallion of the ancestral scriptures, well, what is the ancestral scriptures? Well, it's the father, the grandfather, the ancestors, the great grandfathers, the great great greats, all the way down to the very origin of it. There is a transmission of the instructions that were gradually passed on, and so these are the ancestral scriptures. And so, where is it that these come from? Well, as is pointed out later on in the song, in line 122, it says, Telopa and Naropa are so very kind. And so, where is it that the instructions of Mahamudra came from? They came from Telopa and Naropa. And then from Telopa and Naropa, they were then given to the 13 in the single transmission. So the 13 in the single transmission are so very kind. And so when we talk about the 13 in the single transmission, this is that Telopa gave the instructions to Naropa, and then Naropa gave them to Marpa. And so it's with Marpa that the 13 in the single transmission began. And so for these 13 members of the single transmission, this continued all the way to the fifth Karmapa Deshin Shekpa. The instructions were passed down from one person to only one other individual in an oral transmission for the 13. And so there's a lineage of the single transmission that came all the way to the fifth Karmapa Deshin Shekpa, who was the 13th in this lineage. And so up to this point, this single transmission was unbroken, and it was able to be preserved up to that point. And then at that point, what happened is that there were the blessings that made it possible to spread this transmission greatly and widely. And so the fifth Karmapa Deshin Shekpa gave these teachings to someone whose name was Mase Lodra Rinchen. Mase Lodra Rinchen. And he received these special, extraordinary instructions, and then he gradually spread these instructions. And so these are the instructions of the 13 in the single transmission that came down to Mase Lodra Rinchen, and then he passed them on to the Thrangu Rinpoche who then, and so in this way, they passed down to the Thrangu Rinpoche Nyingpo, and this is how then they gradually spread from there. And so this is the ancestral tradition, the scriptures of the ancestral scriptures that then were gradually passed down. And as it says later on in the lines that read, Telopa and Naropa are so very kind. The 13 in the single transmission are so very kind. Gangshar Ompo is so very kind. And so here, Gangshar Ompo is his own special, his extraordinary Lama. And so these are the instructions are of these people. These are the people in the lineage of the single transmission. And it's through knowing their instructions that he was able to come to the plane of knowing one and being freed in all.
Chi hi kunru je thang la lep so se ta ti lo ju nda bu de tang rang ge dong da bu ji choi ga na de ne chi tong go ja nga chu nga ji lo la chi tong go ja nga den lo la de ne tan da kem bo kan her da de ne Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche number ni nyom do tene pep ne ngarang ki jalwa de la ti capsule yang jar to che jalwa de la tene ti capsule dongwa che par che mambo nang gi ware dangwa cheparjin mambo nangni kong loju ndaboje tangkembo kanghyar ke loju ndaboje sauna tini chitang tanda trungpa trungpa ke laju tela norbu rinpoche chi yore tati trungpa truku kanga ko kuma ti ko chewa jima kanga ngola ti norbu te ta nang yore norbu te kurap mangpo je ne tene ko ngola ta nang yore ti junsen de kare re se na chitang kahe ke somna tati nre kogre dan kogre jengen ba kogre sungare sege yore tinde mare una kare re se na semje norbu chuni je norbu chaja chimbu ke tawati thola yepe ke tala ko koma te la yo te thola yore la ti ko chewa jima te yo te thola yepe ke tala ti norbu te tini yangchara to kuntrin te ngol so ti kuntrin jima te ngol so ti kuntrin jima te ngol che ta tinde nang ke luso chungare te tini chuni ke topa ngandu chupe ke tanda po te la te nang ke yore la tene ta te yang ko chewa jien ro kapsala te chi kap ka la jin ro anda bo yung yore la tene ta tanda Trungpa Rinpoche tene tanda ko chung chung ke kap la tingol du so ne kap je la kusi na te la song re la song te la song te chi ti kap tana la chuni je topa te ngand majur be ta anda bo je la tene ta ti ji ne tene kong dangwa chepar jin tenzo nang ne dangwa chepar jin tenzo chitawa yin do nang ne tene kong thup ge ji song te ngand chur yung kap la tene tendri ge chuni ge ong ge Rinpoche te yung tene langsung tene ni ne o ndanando senkin ti chone tene ti nobu Rinpoche te nye pa re la ti nobu Rinpoche te nye pa te koran tendri ge dan ra bo ji re tangbo te ji tene ta tanda ko jewa ji pa la tene te tuji kor so anda bola ji ma ngan tu churba ta te kong dangwa la tene ngan tu churba ta te kong ge kap ndar ngor du su kap so la yin na ya mu zen herap ti yensul kipi kin hi ti du gan thong le thar te ki hi kun ro je thong la lep so se ta te som gu ti jun sen ra bo te ngarang ge nguma ta gembu ge na dong ra bo ta te je
And so I thought I'd like to tell you a little bit of a story about this, knowing all and being blocked in one, and then coming to the plane of knowing one and being freed of all. So the story is that in 1957, Khenpo Gangsha Wangpo and Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche both came to Thrangu Monastery, and I met the both of them at that time. Khenpo Gangsha gave many wonderful instructions, and at that point he told a story. Now, the story is that for the Trungpa Tulkus, the lamas in the Trungpa lineage, they all of them had a jewel that they all wore around their necks. So every incarnation of the Trungpa Rinpoche wore this jewel around their neck. And so what was the reason that they would wear this jewel around their neck? Well, some people said that, this is a special jewel. It has the power to ward off spirits and geks and dens and all these evil influences. But that's not the reason why he wore the jewel. Actually, the jewel is a symbol of the jewel of the mind, the jewel of the realization of Mahamudra. This is something that the Trungpa Tulkus had within their mind. And so the previous Trungpa Tulkus had this, and then the successors also had this realization, and then the next Trungpa Tulku would have it in this way. And so in this way, the same realization, each of the Trungpa Tulkus had the same realization. And in the same way, as a symbol of this, they each wore the jewel. The first had the realization, wore the jewel. The second also wore the jewel. The next also wore the jewel, and so forth. And so this is the tradition. It is a symbol of their realization of the Dharma nature as it is being manifest, that they wore this. But when you get a new body, sometimes you sort of forget a few things. And so when Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche was young, he sort of forgot his realization a little bit. And so one day he was playing around and he lost the jewel. And when he lost the jewel, this is like he had not yet really manifested the realization of the Dharma nature as it is. And because he hadn't realized that this is a symbol, that he lost the jewel as a symbol of this. Then Khenpo Gangsha came, he gave him the instruction, and then because of the instruction, he was able to really manifest the true realization of the nature of all things. And when he manifested that realization, then at the same time, out of the profound power of interdependence, he also found the jewel. And so he found the jewel, and then he, after that, he also wore the jewel. And so this is just a sign of, it's just the symbol that, a symbol from the interdependence, the coincidental symbol. At first he had forgotten the realization, and then when it became manifest, he found the jewel again. Because of the instructions, he was able to read this. And so when we read in this song about this ancestral stallion of the stallion of the ancestral scriptures, this is what he is referring to. So riding this fine stallion of the ancestral scriptures, thus I escape the chasm of knowing all while blocked in one, and have come to the plane of knowing one and one while freed in all. And so I just thought I'd tell you the story. This is something that old guys like me can do.
Tene ta te jendo ta tanda te jisu ta tanda te tene jo mengo samon la samti lo dewa del ta to pa che par chi jil chi pa la samti tu lo dewa ta cher lama yin ya tu devo chipu chungare loma yin ya to pa che par chi jil chi na lama che par chi jal dongwa che par chi to ta tindi chundi lo dewe ki cholte sungare la chol chung mni de chongkin rang copy make the Ronsalangami, Semni Mapon Chuku Ron Yao, Noa Mango Chuku Ron, Tachin Tadraji Chuku Yono, Main Magamjing, Narsu Chuko Sunditel. That's Semji Nelute, Solnaya, Nia Yomare, Nia Mapi Johnson the candidates in Sonking Koran Rare. Tene Kornaya, Tanon to the Cogging Somni, Kornayon, Kor to a Yomare, Ronsalangapa Mepare. Semni Mapon Chuku Ron Yao, Tene Semte, Mapanaya, Semte Pangue, Yomare Semte, Chuku Nelunda Bota, Chuku Ron Yalanda Bote, Noa Manga Chuku Ron Yal, Chuku Ron, Noa Tengopa, Kogu Yomare, Chuku Ron, Noa Lenti Jiba, Tajigombo Bagason, Noa Lenti Jiba, Chuku Sonre, Tati Chuku Ronsalanda Botella. Tashin Tadraji Chuku Yolong, Takanga, Chuku on the Nepa in Bichena, Main Somdon, Magambe on the Nalsuni, Tati, Chuni Newman on the Nepi Chopati, Be Messibe, Tat and the Topa Cheparti Jilla Jibitanra, Sumarella, Tat Deta Vuna, Nambriotni, Gongu Yore, Sony.
Next is a section that talks about how when you receive these wonderful instructions and you meditate upon them and you develop realization, this brings real happiness. It brings happiness to the lamas who have this realization, and it also brings happiness to the students who receive the instructions and who practice them and develop the realization. So we receive the instructions and then we practice them, and that brings us great happiness. And this is in the section starting on line 110, which reads, "Even if you look, you won't find it. It's the searcher itself. Blocking it won't stop it. The natural energy is unceasing. Mind essence is not abandoned. It's the Dharmakaya's natural face. Appearances don't stop. They're the Dharmakaya's natural light. The variety of the Dharmakaya beyond permanence or nihilism. It's enough to rest undistracted without meditating." And so when we look for the nature of the mind, we look for it, but we can't find anything. There's nowhere to find. And the reason that there's nothing to find is that it is the searcher itself. And then blocking it won't stop it. We might think that we block thoughts, and then we can find it, but we can't block the thoughts. The natural energy of the thoughts, the power, the natural energy of the thoughts is unceasing. Mind essence is not abandoned. It's the Dharmakaya's natural face. So we don't need to give up the mind in any way. The mind is it's the natural face of the Dharmakaya. It is the way it is the nature of the Dharmakaya. It is the natural face of the Dharmakaya. Appearances don't stop. So we can't stop the appearances. We don't want to stop the appearances. The appearances are unceasing. This is what the Lord Gampopa described as when he said that appearances are the innate light of the Dharmakaya. Appearances are the co-emergent or innate light of the Dharmakaya. They're the natural energy of the Dharmakaya. And so the variety of the Dharmakaya is beyond permanence and nihilism. It's beyond any extreme. And so it is enough to just rest within the natural state of this without being distracted, without meditating, and just resting within this natural expanse of the Dharmakaya. And so this is when we... I'm talking about how when we realize this nature, there's the great happiness that arises, and at that point, all we need to do is to rest within equipoise.
Tene ta te jeso ta tanda tinjin saju lama la samne lo dewa ta ti dangwa tenzo saju lama tangchi la tene chungwa te tembarela ripatimi je tonzu gama ngopo mantong yung main sam kheke ngopo mantong yung main sam kheke phagi jem je karin jema phomi deterte yiring torwa samne ta tanda shoje chimbu nelu de ripatma mepa ta tanda shoje chimbu nelu de ngopo dodo rabon thoya yo ribesina thoya yo mare shoje chimbu sinking ke main sam ke ta tela tene tene ta tanda sanje dang jangju semba dang nyentu dang rongson je la soba tamchi jebrasi be yum tene hirab je paru de tsma sena yanda chaje chemo sena yanda ta senchi tamchi dungal le chopa tene rangin senchi tamchi tharba dong tamchi chembe kompong la thai thup nuba dang dembe kadin jema de Pomi deterte ta dewa chimbo yin rendo terwate yin rendo torwata thoma mepani rangin kanga memambola ta chuni ge nelu de don seni ge nelu de mato pa yin rimbo loswa senji ji jurje tsuldo yuba te yinayo lopa te loswa rete yinaya tanda kaba yuare se na ngaranzu nyomdo yuare mato tha rimbo hela yo mare tha rinpoche la yo mepa tsamda yung mazi ye nen dhalmi je nelu njalwe tini te yang tha rinpoche la mepa tsamda mazi thangpo ni ngaranta nyamdo shaja chimpu nelu te ye dema ni ngaranta nyamdo yore la nelu njalwa te njaltaba tili chungware nelu njalwati sukarin la tene chungware se na telo naro te karin chewo chiji chusam te karin chewo kongher ombo te karin chewo karin zothap sa yungyal njallo se ta tanda tene tanda karin zothap sa ta karin te yapo sabge cherdala tene chaja chimbi nelu te gam ne nyamsu lona te karin te sabtoba yungre swani.
Then is the third part of this section is the happiness of contemplating the kind root and lineage lamas. And so it's because of the root and the lineage lamas that we're able to develop this realization. So as it reads, I don't see the beloved empty form of stainless awareness as if it were a thing, but just because of a mere name. A long time ago I lost the kind mother of the Four Nobles. I lost her who gives unchanging great bliss. And so the nature of Mahamudra is in the instructions of Mahamudra, the practice of Mahamudra, the stainless practice of Mahamudra. Is this something that is a real thing? Is it a solid thing that we can find? We don't. I don't see the beloved empty form. We can't see any there. So Mahamudra is just a name. It's just merely a name. And so, but because of this name, it's the name. Because of this name, all of the Buddhas, all of the Bodhisattvas, all of the self-Buddhas or Pratyeka Buddhas, all of the listener arhats were able to attain, to appear. This is the Mahamudra is the mother who gives birth to all of the noble beings. So whether you call it the Prajnaparamita, whether you call it Mahamudra, it has the power to be able to free all sentient beings from the suffering of samsara. It has the power to be able to lead ourselves and all of their sentient beings to the temporary and ultimate results. And so it is able to give us she gives us the unchanging great bliss. But right now we have not realized her. It's like we've lost her. We might look for her, but we've lost, we can find her. But really, I have seen the nature from which we have never been separate, present in the manner of a co-emergent union. So the co-emergent union means that she's always there, always innately present. And where is it? She's present with it. It's right together from us. It's not far away from us and all. Not only is it not far from us. When we actually meditate upon the we see that we've never been separate from this. It has been with us together from the very beginning. The innate nature of the Mahamudra has been with us from the very beginning. And so now we have been able to see this. I have seen the nature from which we have never been separate. And whose kindness is it that we have been able to see it? It is, as it says, Telopa and Naropa are so very kind. The 13 in the single transmission are so very kind. Kongsra Ompo is so very kind. To repay their kindness, I look into the mother's face. And so these great lamas have all been so very kind. And so in order to repay the kindness, the best way to repay the kindness is to look into the mother's face or to practice, to do rest in the practice of meditating on the profound Mahamudra.